Hey guys, welcome to Manosphere Nation. I'm your host, James. In this video, we're going to talk about why you just got ghosted. And we're going to do that right after the intro. Alright guys, if you clicked on this video, chances are you've probably just recently been ghosted and you're sitting here like, what in the hell just happened? In the off chance that you clicked on this and you don't know what ghosting is, which I'd be surprised, but in the off chance that you don't know what ghosting is where you're talking to somebody, things seem to be going great, and then out of the blue, for no apparent reason, boom, they just cut off all contact with you. No more texting, no more social media chats. They just go completely silent. You may also experience something which is called soft ghosting, which is essentially the person isn't responding to your texts anymore or your messaging, but they will still occasionally like maybe a post on social media or something. Essentially, they both mean the same thing, which is they're not interested in you anymore. Soft ghosting is typically done so that the person doing the ghosting can relieve their conscience. Well, I'm still interacting with them. I'm still liking an occasional post or occasional meme or whatever you post on social media. But really, guys, they mean the same thing, and that is that person is no longer interested in you. That being said, we're going to talk about 4 reasons why you get ghosted. The first reason you get ghosted, and this is predominantly why men get ghosted, I'd say this is at least 9 times out of 10, the reason you got ghosted is because another option, a better option, another guy came along and she's not really into you or interested in you anymore. It could be like if you're on an online dating site, maybe she had you rated at an 8 or 8.5, and you're texting and you think things are going great, but she's still talking to some other guys, and then suddenly she's talking to what she rates as a 9 or a 9.5, you're going to the wayside. It could be maybe that she broke up with a boyfriend in the not too distant past, and you guys are talking, and then all of a sudden he comes back into the picture. Boom, she's going to jump to him. But almost, like I'd say at least 80 to 90% of the time is because a better option came along. If you've been dating for a little while, and this happens to all of us occasionally, maybe you've been dating 6-8 weeks, you think things are going pretty good, and then all of a sudden, poof, she's gone. Again, guys, you got to remember, women by nature are hypergamous. They're monkey branching. She may be with you, and she may feel pretty good about you, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have her options, her feelers out there. Especially in the 21st century, this happens. Women do this a whole lot more, and the internet and social media make it very easy for women to do this. It's unfortunate, it sucks, but that's how it is. Guys, the second reason that women will ghost you is you may have said or done something that made them feel weird, that made them feel off, that they liked you, but now you've said something and now they're not so sure and they're going to pump the brakes. Women are creatures of emotion. They think with their emotions. The women may be on cloud 9 in the morning and they may text you, "Good morning, babe," and "How you doing?" And then by noon they're pissed off or they're depressed or God only knows what, but now they're not on cloud 9 anymore. Now they're mad or they're sad or they're depressed. And you send them a text which is genuinely harmless. You don't mean anything by it. And if the woman were emotionally in a good place, she'd be okay with it. But now that she's not, now she takes it totally different from how you meant it. To give you an example, here a couple of years ago, I went to it was kind of like a dinner party with a girl I was seeing at the time. And for her work, I think we'd gone out a couple dates, and we get there, and I'll call her A, but I saw a girl who was there. She was there by herself. We made eye contact, and immediately you could tell through the attraction was there. However, I was with the date. I didn't even say anything to A. I let it go. I was going to be a good guy. Sure enough, a month or so later, the girl I was seeing, she and I parted ways. There were some red flags. It wasn't vibing. So I get on whichever dating app it was, a month or two later, and I'm swiping right, and I see the girl from the party that I made eye contact with, and I went, ho, ho, ho. And so I swiped right, and the next day, poof, we matched, and I was like, oh yeah. And so I knew, because I'd seen her just, maybe 2 months ago, I knew, man, she's good looking. I already, we kind of knew that we liked each other. And so we immediately start messaging, and I'm using a lot of humor, and within a day or two we switched to text messaging, and I'm sending her memes and jokes, and she's sending them back. And a day or two after that, I ask her out. Hey, let's go. We'll go have a beer at whatever bar it was. Great. As soon as I did that, I usually recommend reducing the text messaging, reducing the chatter until you get to the date, which I did. She actually, the day of the date, she texted me to confirm, hey, are we still on? And I was like, oh yeah, we're still on. I'll see you at 7. And she texted me back, okay, now where are we meeting again? And I thought, well, I'll be funny. And there's a topless establishment in my area, which is famous because it really sucks. But everybody in this area, I'm not going to mention the name of it, but if you mention the name of it, everybody from my area has heard of it. They know the reputation it has. It's sleazy. It's at times can be dangerous. And so I text back making a joke. Oh, we're supposed to meet at this establishment. So I didn't hear from her. And like 30 minutes later, I thought, well, maybe she's busy. 30 minutes later, I get a text from her saying, I never agreed to go there. And I couldn't, because we'd been joking, I couldn't tell, is she playing around or is she serious? I wasn't sure. And so I just sent back a lighthearted text, hey, I'm just messing with you. We're supposed to meet at this bar. Another 30 minutes, I don't hear anything. And then I get a text from her saying, hey, look, I've had a bad day. I'm not really in the mood for jokes. Can we reschedule the date? And of course, hey, no problem. Let me know when you're free and we'll do it some other time. And I remember thinking, what the hell? And I was fortunate, unfortunate or fortunate. We did go out like a week later. The date was awkward. It just that my little joke just for her killed it. I'm convinced, because we've been joking back and forth so much, that if she'd been in a good mood emotionally, that joke would have no big deal. But because she was emotionally down or pissed off or whatever, it had the exact opposite effect, and it killed that vibe. I probably dodged a bullet if she's going to get that pissed off over a joke, but the damage was done. For that reason, let me throw out another little tidbit. Until you've actually met them in person and you got a good vibe, I would keep humor to a minimum. I don't use sarcasm at all until we've at least met in person and we can get a good vibe. But again, because she was an emotional low point, my joke did not come across the way I intended it. Okay, guys, number 3, women typically try to avoid negative interactions. Guys we're bigger, we're stronger. Women are typically smaller, weaker. Guys have more muscle mass. We have bigger bone density. And so women over thousands and thousands and thousands of years have been conditioned to try to avoid negative interaction with guys. That's why a lot of times a guy will ask a girl for her number and she'll just agree and give it to him with no intention of ever replying to him. For them, it's easier and sometimes safer just to give him what he wants, get away from the situation, and then just be done with it. And unfortunately, there are guys out there that don't handle rejection well. If a woman does reject him, the man gets pissed. He's calling her names. You're a bitch. You're a whore. Which, guys, don't do that. That's absolute beta behavior. If you get rejected, whatever, roll on. But, like I said, there are times women will do that. The fourth reason, and this isn't nearly as prominent as the others, but I have seen it occasionally. Women may text you and carry on conversations with you and have absolutely no real intention of meeting you. Women crave attention the same way that men crave sex. That's for women, that attention gives them validation. It helps them to feel good about themselves. So if it's a woman you've met online, she may text you back and forth just because she wants that attention. But then when it comes time to actually meet you, poof, they may ghost you because they don't want to do it. To a lesser extent, there are women out there that catfish. I think I've talked about this in other videos. They may not look like their picture. They may use fake pictures or pictures of somebody else and set up a fake profile because they may be overweight or they may be significantly older than what they say. There are women out there that are married or are in relationships. They're not going to leave their boyfriend or husband, but they still get online because they want to feel like men find them attractive, men find them sexy, and it gives them that validation. And so they'll play you along and they'll text back and forth. And then once they start thinking, man, this guy may be catching on to me, poof, they'll ghost you and they'll be gone. Now, something that's kind of in a similar vein to ghosting is something that's called submarine. That is, the woman will disappear, like you'll think that she's ghosted you, and then maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month or two later, poof, she resurfaces and she'll start reaching out to you and texting you again. What that typically means is that you were an option, and you probably weren't the first option, and something didn't go right with the first option, so she's circling back around to you. If this is like an ex or something, it could also be that she's wanting to keep her options open, but she needs her backup plan. She needs a life raft just in case these guys don't work out. She's still got you in the background. Guys, if this is the case, me personally, I roll on. I'm not, if you ghosted me and then you try to come back a month or two later, man, I don't have time for that. I want a woman who is into me, who makes time and makes effort for me and isn't going to disappear if some other option comes along. I'll bring up another story. Here a couple of years ago, I started dating a girl, I'll call her B, and we went out for about 6-8 weeks. Sex was amazing. We were seeing each other a lot. And I remember about midweek, she had a daughter, which, you know, this is the problems you're going to run into when you date single mothers. But she had a daughter that every other weekend went to her dad's house. And so we would try to plan things well, let me back up. 2 days a week and every other weekend would go to her dad's house. So we would plan things for when her daughter was gone. And it was midweek, and I knew this was a weekend that her daughter wouldn't be there, and so we were on the phone. I was like, hey, you know, what's our plan for this weekend? Which I shouldn't have done. I should have already had something laid out. But I asked the question, and I remember her saying, well, I don't know. I may be kind of busy this weekend. Let's just play it by ear. Which I immediately knew that's not a good sign. If the woman suddenly has, and you've been dating for a little while, and suddenly she has an excuse why she can't meet you, guys, that's a clue. That's a red flag. And so my response was, hey, no problem. You know, if you get free this weekend, just hit me up. All right, cool. Never heard from her. She ghosted me. Whatever. Within a day or two later, screw her. I'm rolling on to the next one. I want to say probably a month or two later, I got back on whichever dating site or a dating site. I remember going through, and she, not only do I see her, she's liked me. And my first reaction is, oh, screw you. I'm not. But I thought, well, you know what? If she liked me after ghosting me, let me see what she has to say. So I liked her. And within a few hours, she's messaging me. And of course, I'm like, so what happened? And she was like, look, we were dating, everything was great, the sex was amazing, but we never talked about where this was going. And there's another guy that came along and he said all the right things, and I really, you know, turns out he's an asshole, and I really screwed up, and I made a huge mistake, and I am so sorry. And my response was, well, you live and learn. And that was it. I was done with it. Because what that told me is not only did she ghost me for another guy, goes back to 9 out of 10 women are doing that if you get ghosted, but it also tells me that 2 months in, she's still got her feelers out there. She's still looking at her options. So, guys, I would recommend, even if you're sleeping with them, even if you're dating, you're going out, until you've had that talk, that what I call DTR, define the relationship, which she needs to bring up, not you. But until that, keep your options open. Don't turn off your dating profiles. Don't keep your options open. So if you do get ghosted and you're not sure what to do, you go quiet, go silent, no contact. Do not keep sending them text messages. Just let it go. Roll on to the next girl. And guys, I know that's hard. Man, it sucks. We've all been there. Guys, and it hurts. And I know it hurts, especially if you've been dating for a little while, a month or two, and you're thinking, hey man, this may be going somewhere, and she ghosts you. Man, it hurts. I get it. And your first reaction may be to tell her off, send her a text message about how terrible she is and how could you do this to me, and you know, low life scum and all this. Guys, do not do that. The reason is 99% of the time, you're not going to get a response from them anyway. If they've ghosted you, they're rolling on, and so you're essentially shouting into an empty room. They're not going to respond. They're not going to pay attention. The other reason is because in her mind, if you're calling her all this stuff, she's now justifying, oh, well, he's being a jerk. It's a good thing I ghosted him. And so she's going to validate it. She's going to justify leaving you or ghosting you. The other reason is maybe there was a little bit of interest there, but a different guy's come along and she's interested in him. But if you never say anything to her, in the back of her mind, she may still be wondering, man, he never said anything. Did he really like me? Did he really? And that, it may plant a little seed of doubt. And I promise you, to a woman, having that little seed of doubt, I don't want to say punishing, but it's worse than you telling her off, because now she knows exactly how you feel. That silence, she's not quite sure, and that not knowing is far worse to her than you telling her off. Guys, almost everybody out there has been ghosted at least once, if not multiple times. It sucks. It hurts. But unfortunately, it's a part of dating in the 21st century. All you can do is hold your head up high, know your worth, know that you're worth more than that, and roll on. Find a girl who is interested in you and who will make an effort. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, please give us a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, so that you don't miss any of our videos. If you know somebody out there, a buddy of yours who got ghosted, please share this video with them, and together all of us can become better men.